I will not go through all these things. You don't need to know this. So all you need to know is psychotherapy. You talk to somebody, and also medications. Those medications can be like antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, and there's a medication called prazosin. Next. So that was PTSD. Any questions? 1 second. Let's give chance to the women. Somebody wanted to ask something, or okay. All right, go ahead, David.
Yeah, my question was, like, I see most of people who have a mental illness, they gain or weight a lot when they're taking the medication. But I don't know what triggered that. Do you know?
Yes. Thank you for that question. You know, one of the challenges that people don't stick to medications, especially mental health medications, is the side effects. And especially among women, the most undesired side effect is obesity, weight gain. You know, المرة بتكون ممكن تشرب في أدوية دي بعد 3 إلى 4 شهور تلقاه شكلها يتغير. And then she may even feel like, oh no, this is not me. You know what, I need to lose weight. So what is the first thing that comes into the mind? They will stop taking the medication. You know, and so yeah, most of the medications, especially depression medications and all that, they have side effects of weight gain. The same thing with medications for things like schizophrenia, manic, all this. So you can gain weight. But, you know, it is a balance. If you gain weight, you can shed it by exercising, right? But if your mental health is not okay, so it is a decision to decide what is more important to you. Is it to be mentally healthy and take medications, or to, you know, to go to the gym and just work out that extra weight, okay? So we will talk a bit about this, actually, about the medications when we touch on the stress, on the depression here. So depression. I think all of us have heard about depression here, right? Okay. Who do I want to put on the spot?
To define or to do that?
Yes, so, yeah. Okay, yes, Sister Anya. So when people talk about depression, you know, from South Sudanese perspective, or, you know, in your own opinion as well, what do you think that means?
I don't think there's a word called depression in South Sudanese. It's a disease that we are immune to. We don't get depressed. You just have to get over it, or find strategies to just get over it. So depression it's not taken seriously now.
Yeah. So, you know, I was thinking about depression, and then I asked myself, what is depression in Dinka language? Because I'm a Dinka. Can somebody tell me their language? Yeah.
In your language, we say that Chibudinyon.
What does that mean if you translate? Like,
if you translate, it's like you're not in the right mind.
you're not it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I like that actually. That's a very subtle way of saying things. Yeah. I love that.
Someone can see in your eye or your action, like you talk to me, you can see the way I behave, and then right away in where we said,
Wouldn't you want? She wouldn't want. Okay. Yes.
Yeah, sometimes when you have too much confidential become confusion.
Okay. So what I hear here is keeping secrets.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
you know
also,
what? In mental health, they say you are as sick as your secrets.
Yes.
The more secrets you keep, the more sicker you are. And guess what? What do we do? The first thing that we keep secret is our mental health status. And sometimes even, you cannot just come and say, "Ya Jama, I have a bad day today." You don't even want to say that. You don't want to acknowledge that, you had a bad day. You come and you're like, oh, like as if, like what Angara said, nothing has happened. And people will just tell you, you know what, get over it. Sometimes it is easier said than done. So depression or major depressive disorder is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. Okay. Depression causes feeling of sadness and loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. So, if you were somebody that liked to go, for a concert or watch a soccer game or, have a woman talk, now you're not showing up. You don't have interest to why even I have to go there in the first place. You don't enjoy it. Okay? This is a sign of depression. So, but those, you know what? American football, if I don't go there, I'm not a fan of it anyways. So if I don't go, it is not a depression. Lakin fi kuragada mena, wana there ramshi, lakin I feel like I am not. So that is the meaning of this. Next. So those things that we have said about definition of depression is actually they can affect your, daily living, whether work, school, or family. So it is not just a simple thing that you think, oh, I have depression, things are going to be okay. No, it can affect you. And actually, if it doesn't affect you to the point where you have impairment, you're still working 100%, you're doing things the way you are, no, that is not, maybe it is just a stress that you're going through. But the depression itself is a major, a very tough sickness. And a lot of people suffer from it, actually. So why do we get depression? There are some theories of, biochemistry where there are what we call neurotransmitters. Those are chemicals. Those chemicals are in the brain. The way the brain works is, the brain talks to itself through those chemicals. Most of these important chemicals in depression is a substance called dopamine. I don't know how many of you guys heard of dopamine. The happy dopamine and serotonin hormonal that farah, chemicals of the joy. Your body normally secretes those, and that's why you can feel happy. But when your body is not producing those, or they are being blocked, you can get into depression. The other thing is genetics. So, and this is where we go wrong as South Sudanese, and sometimes we go right. I will not say 100%, but depression runs in families. And the most example is twins. Loindak Toman Shababat, identical twins. If one twin has depression, the other twin has 70% chance of getting depression throughout their lifetime. Okay, so there is a strong correlation. And this is where, sometimes, especially Alna Denga, people will start saying, this family has mental health history. We don't want to marry from there.
Is that how? That is true.
Yeah.
Is that true?
And what happens here?
They are increasing the pressure actually.
Thank you.
And nobody wants now to acknowledge the fact that, who will want
exactly.
to do that,
Who want to acknowledge that, what? Let it be known that I have depression or I have mental health in my family. Therefore, my daughters will not be married or married. No, you'll hide it. That's the secret our brother was talking about.
Yeah.
And the more secrets you put in your bag, the more you're
The
getting
more
sick.
depression.
The more you're getting depressed. Because you are suffering with a problem. I'm a chef in Sudan. I practiced there for 5 years. What I've seen, First, the whole country has 12 beds of psychiatry. You know, Sudan Kulu, 12 beds of psychiatry. Okay? And that is only in Juba. There is no psychiatry unit in Barakazal, Al-Nil, or Ismail. You know, the rest of it, except Juba. This is in the country where we're coming out of war. To make matter of worse, like I had one of my best friends, Tom Albina, I think Akor knows him very well. He's a trained psychologist in Netherlands, and he had worked in Netherlands for 11 years. So when we went to South Sudan, people are afraid to go see him or to get seen with him. I don't go ahead. I don't should result in the money to Tom. So you move, please. You know, this is, yeah. So the Qatar psychiatrists, they don't even have clinics. You guys may think I'm exaggerating. There's only one doctor in South Sudan that has psych clinic. Then Hajat al-Nahna Gadi, you know, we deal with it. Personality. There are some people that have low self-esteem. You know, somebody's born like that. And in mental health, when we diagnose, we divide things into categories. We call them axes. There is axis 1, 2, 3, and 4. Axis 1 is like serious health problems, like mental health problems like depression. That is. But there are also things called personality disorders. You know, it's not the way you are. That's your personality. Some people are just pessimistic. It's not, you know, cranky all the time, or it's all very shy. They cannot even do anything, or they doubt themselves. Oh, you know what? I'm not good enough for this. I cannot apply for this job because this job is for smart people. You know, I don't think I'm smart enough to handle that. So you grow up with low self-esteem. That also can precipitate depression. You can easily be bullied. You know, there are some women even just trying to avoid the conflict. Yeah, they can be bullied. You know what? If I talk to her, tomorrow I'll be on social media. So let me not go there, right? That's true. Yeah. You know, it's a reality that we're facing here as Junubin. So that you know, that can contribute to your mental health wellness. Environmental factors. You know, when we talk about environmental factors, we talk about physical and other factors. Well, physical, you know, it's like winter. Map is all behave winter. And it can be a source of depression for others. Because these are what we call schizoaffective disorders. Even Kawajat, they get depressed during the winter. Leave alone, you know, I'm an immigrant, I don't have a car, I have to weather all these things, and I'm not even used to the snow to start with. I'm driving 45 or 48 degrees to go to minus 40. And you expect me to be happy? Come on. The other environmental factors are things that are happening around you. You know, those things can affect you as well. And we talk about, you know, even just seeing your, you know, what is happening around you. You know, you go to the mall, you come back upset. Yeah, you come back upset, you're like, you know what? Oh, I don't know today. Oh, yeah, you know, you have all this. So, environment can play a big role as well. And when we talk about environment, we're not just talking about the snow, but the environment that you are in as well. Imagine until of a bed, and your partner is abusive. You know? you're getting exposure to abuse constantly to the point that you're going to feel depressed. It will break you down. So those things also. So that is something that I meant to talk about also, which is called intimate partner violence. Okay? The name keeps changing in the medical world. Now they call it intimate partner violence. An intimate partner could be your current or ex-partner. It could be somebody that you're just in love with, or somebody that you're close to, and they hurt you. In processing that, you can be depressed, because especially when you think that that person was supposed to be a protector, somebody that was supposed to be supportive to you. Next.
I would like to add too.
Yes.
Sometimes it's not only physical violence, it's physical abuse, emotional abuse.
Emotional, yes. Yes. When I talk about, you know, the environmental factors in the terms of abuse, it could be, you know, some, like we know here in this country, if you fight and you get handcuffed and thrown in jail, maybe next time you will not do it. But guess what? If you interrogate him, the cops are not going to find a physical evidence, right? So some people will just do things to break you down. Some of it even telling the woman, you know, or you know what? To get things worse, if you were in that kind of relationship and you thought, okay, well, let me get out of it. Now, when you get out of it, the way even the community look at you can be a major source of stress. You know, you come now, you know? Yeah. You know, Shamarat, what did you hear? Madam Yundab, she said she was the best woman. Now she's divorced. You know what? Or, oh, look, you know what? This one has gone through this man and now she's with another person. Even somebody that there. And sometimes even you can have agents at home, like your kids. To uncle can't you know, or who called. Now you are in conflict with all this. So environment is very important. And supportive environment, especially for us South Sudanese in our homes, sometimes we don't even show love to each other. We are serious. You know, you think your duty is fulfilled if you come and put food on the table. You know, but that is not all. Anyway, we'll come to this later on. I'll just try to pace quickly through those slides. We have sat here for a little bit. Anyways, so some of the symptoms, I think we have just kind of touched it. Feeling or sad or depressed mood, loss of interest. Oh yeah, next please. So we said there are things that are particular to the babies. I am sure, you know, majority here, well, of course we have young ladies, but I tend to think of all the women as mothers actually. You know, because motherhood is not even just having a child yourself. You know, you could be a mother in the role that you do, even if you didn't have a child of your own. So, you know, our mothers here, all I can say is that when you have your baby, there are feelings attached to it, right? So, one of these is something called baby blues. It's not my blue that just. Baby blues happen to a woman, you know, they give birth to a baby and then they start feeling emotional. What things happen? They start crying for no obvious reason. You know, you may think, oh, you're not even sure. Are they happy for the baby or they're sad? But they'll just cry. Also, they just feel like, you know what, I'm not myself. Something is not going right here. And feeling anxious, irritable, mood changes, poor concentration. Those are, you know what, they can happen and they'll go away. Those are called baby blues. They're not to be, they are expected to some degree to happen as an emotional reaction. Some people get more happy to have a baby, right? So they can express it by crying, which is okay. But what is postpartum depression? Some women slip into depression, and it might look like baby blues, but now, oh, it's more serious. The woman is just had a baby, and all you see now, they're not sleeping well, and I'm not talking about sleeping well trying to feed the baby. Because I know I was talking to Brother William Okwe when we came in here. And he was very generous to share to me, how difficult it is for the women raising the children, because he has taken a paternity leave to look after his baby. You know what, I'm so proud of you. This is something really good. So, what you were saying is that, a woman has to get up every 2 hours to feed the baby. Yeah, so I'm not talking here in Somi about, getting up to feed the baby, but you are not falling asleep, your lack of energy, low sex drive, a wish, some people may say, oh, why are we talking about this with all this a wonder? So, but that's something that we will touch when we talk about other health issues, because some of these things in our cultures have different perspectives. Changes in appetite, weight loss or gain, weeping, excessive worry, agitation, feeling of inadequacy. But the most troublesome thing is having constant thoughts about the baby. And thinking the worst case scenario, oh, if she would, something bad will happen to the baby. So that is postpartum depression, and it needs to be treated. Next. So treatment is, again, medications. And somebody has mentioned here before about side effects of medications. But you know what? One of the side effects that people are afraid of with medications for depression is actually some people are saying, oh, I may get addicted. How many of you think that medication for depression can get you addicted? Show of hand. Okay. Yeah, actually, the antidepressants are not addictive.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about, I know anti-depression as you are talking, but the addiction comes when somebody, say he's in pain and he has a concept that whenever he takes a pill, the pain will cool down.
Mm-hmm.
So you will find somebody who have this much Tylenol, and in less than 2 weeks, he completed it.
Yes.
And this is part of addiction.
Yes, we will talk about this also. But what I'm trying to make here is medication for depression.
Okay.
Say, so if you are taking antidepressant, things like Prozac, Wellbutrin, all these antidepressants that you have heard of, or maybe some of you might be using, they are meant to help your brain to function well, but it is not going to stimulate you if you don't have that illness. So if you are not depressed and you take antidepressant, you're not going to get happier. You're not going to get more happier. Okay? That is what I'm trying to say here. So they are not tranquilizers. So, go to the next slide. Antidepressant will produce some improvement within the first week or two, but usually around after 2 weeks before we say it has failed. So if you are given medication for depression, don't just take them for a couple of days and then you're like, oh, you know what? Yeah, this is not doing anything, so I stop. You have to continue to get the effect. Sometimes it's up to 3 months. Also, when you stop taking the antidepressants, please just don't decide, you know what, oh, I'm a shit with party and I feel like all my problems are solved. I'm happy, yeah, and now I want to quit my pills. Because you know what? I know the feeling. When you go to the pharmacy to pick up those medications, you are thinking like, oh, what is wrong with me now? do I really have to take this? And some people have to take it for the rest of their lives. So it is something that we have to be mindful of. Yeah, next. So again, psychotherapy, counseling, they can even put electrodes in your, like wires in the brain, and they give you a shock. I think you guys know from back home, right?
Yeah.
But guess what? When I trained in Canada here, they have it. They're still using it. So don't be surprised if you are taken to the hospital with severe depression and then you're given the shock. This is just to rewire the brain. You know, it's like computer when it went ballistic here. What did we do? We restarted. Yeah, so that electrical shock will restart, you know, to reshape your thinking again. And, you know, self-help and coping techniques, which we'll talk about in the self-care section next. This one is here, grief and mourning. You know, grief is something that we are dealing with as South Sudanese here. And I know I come here several times to attend funerals, and even today I heard there are a couple of funerals actually going on. And not only that, we're losing people here, we're losing people back home. So I don't think there is any time that passes without something happening. You know, I remember many times we have to postpone events because something happened. But guess what? You know, it's a secret. When something happens, when you try to do something, actually you are inviting things to happen. At one point, I began to stop going to Hawajat to ask for help for the community. Because every time I have a meeting, there is a loss. And then I have to come and tell them, you know, oh, we have lost somebody. So it is very heavy. And I just want to talk to you here as a member of your community and somebody that really do care about you. Mourning or grief is a process that everybody goes through it. But what you need to know is that there is no right or wrong way of grieving. So, feeling of mourning and grief are common in the migrant population. Grief relates to the thoughts and feelings that accompany a loss, from sadness to anger to longing to be with the person. So, you know, you can be sad, you can be angry, why did this happen? Well, you know what? Or even sometimes we turn against ourselves. You know, these people have done this, and a lot of emotions. And sometimes somebody may say, oh, why is this person talking like this? But you know what? That's how they feel. And you need to acknowledge that. Yeah, that is, some people express their pain and hurt in different ways. Grief relates to thoughts and feelings, okay? But the mourning is the process. Okay? So the mourning are things that you do to show that you're grieving. What is the most common thing in our culture? Yes. What did? Oh, I thought you raised your hand. Like what do people do in the South Sudanese culture if they lost someone?
And now the Tuko dance.
Okay.
Most of it.
Yeah, the Tuko dance, and you know what? When I was growing up in Awil, Zande. Yeah, they dance, and we used to go dancing with Bikar. You know, National Police Abiyad, you know, and they put like Hajatke, Fidar, and people dance until morning. Yeah. Okay, what else? And this one, you know what, it can be very strange concept to others, right? If you tell somebody, if I lose someone, I go dance, people like, you know, are you nuts? Yeah. But you know what, that's how.
Nowadays they put good clothes. Before that they used to wear bad clothes. It's shame.
You change?
Before that,
yeah.
the people morning they put a very bad clothes.
Okay.
But now they dress up.
Okay. So you know, wearing like black. Not be wearing hosen with them. You show how you are mourning. It's, you know, there is no right or wrong way, but culturally, what are the expectations? If a woman lost her husband or a son or somebody close to them, wear black, shave your hair.
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you mourn. But you know, grief and mourning is something individual, and sometimes even putting, you know, maybe that person doesn't even want to wear malabas as well. But what is the community going to say if they see her walking around with mini skirt and oh yeah.
He's not feeling
They
well.
might do that, yeah, but yeah, that is what they were saying, you know? And so, but what happens? What happens if somebody actually, if you are doing something without, you know, like you have to connect. So the correct grief is actually when you connect with yourself, but not doing others because other people want, you want other people to see you that you are grieving. You know? فمشكلة بتاعتنا ده مظاهر sometimes, and doing that, we jeopardize ourselves, our mental health. And some of the things that happen in the grief is secrets. Somebody talk about secrets. You know what? Somebody will lose a loved one, and they know the cause of death. Maybe you overdose, you know, or something went wrong. But in a state of acknowledging that, you know what, I've lost someone due to overdose, now you feel to protect the family. So you're going to tell the community that, you know what, this person died from something else. Of course, you know, don't get me wrong, nobody has to be forced to disclose. It is a family business to keep something within themselves. But having to keep a secret that, you know what, something bad happened, and you're trying to appear like that is not what happened, and you yourself, you know that is not what happened, you're not going to grieve well. Okay? So you need that. Use of support system. Support system is where people come together that have come on the same problem to discuss their issues and see, you know what, if Lumbiel has some problems, how is she dealing with it? You know, you may learn from her, somebody else may learn from you, and all. So that is something that we should encourage, especially for our women. I don't know if something like this is happening here in Calgary, but we have started something like that. Where the women group, they just come and sit and they talk. It is still at the very preliminary stages, so it's more or less like a pilot project. So, next. So again, the national response of loss is grief. Grieving is the process of coping or coming to terms with the loss. And grieving can be something that happens for the lifelong. You know what? And you grieve, our people, we think that sometimes we grieve when somebody dies, but you know what? That is not it. What are the things that we may grieve about? Shuno hajat tani mungkin we may grieve about.
Breakup?
Breakup, yeah. Loss of a relationship, you know? Somebody goes to divorce, they may have, you know, grief. Loss of a job,
Yeah.
you know? Relocation to a new place, all these things. How are we doing time-wise, Anger? I think we're getting close.
Denial, Doctor.
Denial.
Sometimes you grow up in a family, and then and you are an outsider. Something that happened in the past of which you did not know, and you grow up with your father or mother, and then suddenly you will discover that people are saying this child don't belong here, let him go. And that would be a big big problem. You will find yourself being isolated now all the years that you have been with this family and knowing that you are part and parcel of them. That is big, big impact.
Yes, and you know what, even split up the families. You left your brothers and sisters back home and you are here. You know, that can cause you to grieve. And sometimes when we grieve, you know, like you know, you can blame yourself too much. Oh, you know what, if I didn't do this, cancel the bukun high. If only I sent that $1,000 البسيطة الفضل اللي أنا كنت اللي هبته. And you keep beating yourself about it. This happened to me personally, you know. In 1998, when I came to Calgary here, there were opportunities to sponsor your relatives, friends, and all that. We've all brought people. You know what I did? The first thing, I took a form and I sent it to my younger brother. He decided that he wanted to go to get his wife, and he was tied up and thrown in the river. I just keep blaming myself. You know what? If I didn't send that form, my brother would not have died. See? But is it really the form that killed him? No.
It's the time.
It's the time sometimes. Okay. So we internalize things. And like, oh, you know what? I didn't do enough. And this can be so distressing, especially, you know, we are losing our young people here. And sometimes a woman can actually give up on everything. I want them to be successful. And now, Jana Buga, you know, involved in drugs, gangs, or maybe debt. And then you feel like, you know, what did I do? I'm guilty, I did not raise them well. If I were a good mother, you know, or the blame that comes with it. You know, I talk about reverse migration when the men are going back home, and then they're leaving the women behind. And you say, you know what? Something bad happened, it is whose fault?
The wife.
Yeah, Marade. Shuf. This is what happened now. Yeah. And then sometimes even, you know, we don't communicate those things, the struggles that we have. You know, sometimes, you know, you can hear some people, they're having a lot of struggles. But you may find somebody talking, or if you go to Africa, the picture that is painted is a totally different picture. You know? And you want to keep that picture. That, you know what, you're successful, but really, maybe they are not even there. And having to deal with that is also traumatizing. So the general failure or guilt that comes with things that go wrong and you think you are the problem, that can set you into depression. Or, you know, that's you know, some of the grief things that can do to you. The process, there are many ways to grieve. Some examples are crying in the arms of a loved one, drawing a picture of the person you miss, or making special things, you know, في حاجات بخطوم ذكريات, you know, المصريين بيقولوا ده من روات المرحوم. You know, they will not let go of that item. So that is another way of grieving. Next.
Half an hour.
Yeah, we are almost done actually. This is just going to be, this is our last topic actually, which is stress. Actually, the one before the last, because the last one we're going to talk about self-care. So, stress is a big thing. Who's stressed? Yeah. Okay. So the different.
I went through it and
And instead of stress, I think I'm in the side of PhD. You talk about
PTSD.
The borderline.
I already crossed the line.
Well, so sorry to hear that, but you know what? Yeah, we can start somewhere, and we can get help. So stress, you know, stress is a short term. Actually, stress and anxiety are used interchangeably. So stress is short term. It happens in response to something that happened to you. Like what?
Financial
Hmm?
I think it's money.
Money, okay, yeah. You know, I'm broke. Of course. am I gonna yes, I look as an observation. Said, David, are you broke or what? but you know what?
Yeah.
This is one thing that we always forget. Like we talk about health. I told you the definition of health being a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But there is something called wellness. Okay, wellness involves financial wellness.
Yeah.
Okay, and we will learn about this actually in a bit when we go to self-care. So something happened. You know, we see an animal. I mean, a lion here now. خلاص قلب دب. You know, in bafta shadid. Yeah, because what is happening? Your body secretes hormone to prepare you for fight or flight. So the blood is being pumped to the brain, to the muscles. So either you can fight or you can run. Now, if this lingers longer than it should be, and sometimes it might even be due to no apparent reason, can become anxiety. Somebody may have anxiety attack, and you ask them, what are you worried about? I don't know. I just feel like, you know, I'm worried. So, mood irritability, loneliness, dizziness, nausea, anxious thoughts, general unhappiness, and feeling of being overwhelmed are symptoms of stress. And then the anxiety is you get restless, you know, you get tense, sweating, nervous, and feeling of unease, or you know, even might feel like you're dying. I get some, you know, people in the emergency room with anxiety attack, and they believe that they're dying. Something is going really wrong. Heart is beating so fast, they're breathing so fast that they cannot even catch the breath. And that is a panic attack. That is the extreme of anxiety. But you can have anxiety happening in your body all over. It can be acute or it can be over time. Next.
Dr. May I just go back? What is that slide in the middle?
Oh yeah, okay. So these are the symptoms. So the symptoms are what? You get fast, you know, your heart rate is like, it's beating too fast. Yeah, but there is nothing. You know, there is no apparent reason why it should be doing that. But you're thinking, then your brain is creating that. You can have faster breathing, or you can have upset stomach. They give diarrhea or constipation. Yeah. So the reason they are in the middle here, they overlap between the two. So these things can happen to you because of stress or anxiety. Next. Okay, stress and anxiety disorders, what are the symptoms in black women? Well, again, I made this slide having women in mind. So stress in outing events. Yeah, I don't know how many people are down at home there. Not showing up here because you know what? Oh, jeez. We're going to talk about mental health. This is terrible. If I go there now, I think that from a real knows that, you know what, I was dealing with something. So I better not go there. See? So, basically, you know, or you're going to a party, and you're just spending hours and hours putting this one up and taking out the one, or do I look attitude, with what other people going to say, to the point that you come to us and have like so these are, you know, so that is, yeah, it is anxiety, that is social anxiety. You know, what is wrong? If I just, you know what, I dress up with whatever I have, I know I'm rich. It's not the dress that I'm wearing, it's going to make people look at me positive. So, make me go. The other thing is nervous habits. So, some people do things when they are nervous. Any example?
Presentation.
What's that?
Like when you're presenting something, there's
Yeah.
some people who have the stage fright.
Okay, stage fright. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Biting your nails.
Yeah. Some people biting the nail, or going like this, or going back and forth. You don't even know what they're pacing. And pulling the hair. You must really be good at the shy. If you tell them you are crazy, good shy, you got a shit shy. You see me pulling my hair. So that thing happens too. So those are called kicks. And people will know. Some people will just look like really, you will know. It's like, okay, this person is.
Crushing your
Yeah.
finger if you have
They have to be able to be
you want.
yeah. Okay. Goal avoidance. We talk about this. So sign of anxiety or stress is like black women may think, oh, I'm not going to apply for that job because I'm not good enough for it. You're not even trying. So that is another way of expressing it. Worrying. You have had brain races, and what I do sometimes is I tell people, I say, I get a lady nurse and then kind of class at the end. Give them a name. I call mine I'll say it another day. The committee of something. So I know them. When they come, I'll say, okay, the committee has come. I have to deal with them. So, yeah, and you have to literally face them and tell them, you know what? Yeah, hey, I know you're coming to disturb my sleep, but hey, I'm going to bed. It's easier said than done, but you know what? As we will see in the next slides, and that will be the end of our presentation, how actually can you care for yourself? Okay? At one time, I was talking to somebody about the sleep, and they told me, yeah, one of the counselors, he told me, it's like, what is the problem? I said, problem with sleeping. It's like, oh, sleep is easy. All you need is go to the bedroom, lay in the bed, switch off the light, and close your eyes. Really? That is oversimplifying, but that is one thing that, we always preach as well. To have a better sleep, use the bedroom for 2 things. Okay? The sleep will start with Maharaj at the bed. Turning the TV inside, cell phones, every day and night, all this, it will keep you awake and you will not sleep. So avoid distractors. So another way of, black women expressing anxiety is self-medication. We talk about this, drinking or drugging. And then finally, they can come with symptoms. During my practice in Saskatchewan, sometimes I feel like, okay, there's something, there might be presentation. Somebody will come to you every day. It's like, I have pains and aches. That you send them for all the tests, and nothing is wrong. So they feel those aches and pains. Also, high blood pressure, you can get like really young lady, you know, the blood pressure is shooting down the roof. That could be a sign of somebody being depressed, or stressed or anxious. So, presentations may be, high blood pressure, maybe high blood sugars, diabetes. So, not the kind of one they want to say, you know what? Allah ain't them. The most I live by the kind of lift up with doctor or square. Sometimes it's what the body is like, they know this. They'll tell you, if you have a stubborn mind like this, I'm going to do to you something that you might forget. So, anxiety or continuous exposure to stress can lead to high blood pressure and, chronic health conditions in the body, such as diabetes, etc. Next. So, the effects on your body, insomnia, you cannot be able to sleep, you have a brain fog, you're not thinking well, sometimes you'll be talking to somebody and you're like, what? You can't even concentrate, or you go to school, you come back home, nothing about the lecture you remember. No wonder they're like, oh, I go to the class every day, but I'm not learning anything, I must be dumb. But actually you're not dumb. You might be a little bit anxious and you need to have that addressed. Headaches, mood swings. For the women, fertility issues. Doro rasu biatu nakon. You have irregular cycles, but fertilization, ovulation can even stop. So you can have your period, you are resuming your sexual life, but you're not having babies. And you think like, why? Well, you're stressed, chronically stressed, and that has affected your reproductive health. Weight gain, aches and pains, we talked about this, immunity. You get sick, even so it goes into another agenda, you catch it. Because your immune system is not working well. Yeah. Then we talk about high blood pressure, high blood sugar, racing heart rate, and heartburn. Heartburn is something very important also. Yeah. And you will be tired. They complain about the heartburn. And sometimes, you know what? It is not common.
People not say too much.
And this is what I'm trying to say. It's not combo. Because you think, oh, right, combo is like heartburn. Chemically, it should not supposed to do that way. But what happens here? The digestive system is controlled by something called vagus nerve. So that nerve, when it is stimulated due to some other factors, it will stimulate the stomach to secrete acid. Hydrochloric acid is more than that. So when you sleep at night, then all this acid will come back esophagus. And that place is not equipped to handle the acid, so you get the heartburn.
It causes also ulcers, yeah.
And then, oh yeah, of course, thank you. Ulcers, yeah. Chronic stress, you can have ulcers, you can even have bleeding ulcers and you can die. So stress can kill you in different ways. Let us not take it lightly, but you know what? Next. Okay, so hair loss, asthma. Asthma here is because, when you breathe so rapidly because you are stressed, you can actually precipitate asthma attack. It does not cause asthma, but it can make you to go into asthma attack because when you have a panic attack, and if you have lung problems, you're going to get an asthma attack.
But is it genetics? Is asthma genetics?
Asthma, we will talk about that. Yeah, there are genetics, of course. Yeah. The immune system, there is a big element of genetics in asthma. So, We talk about diabetes, headaches, heartburn, and poor gut health. Next. Okay, this is the last portion. It's going to be a couple of slides, and then you're done. Hey, you know what? Now I'm not stressed.